Why is the United States at odds with Venezuela? Is it really about drugs or something else? In recent months, tensions have escalated into what many call the most serious conflict in the Western Hemisphere in decades. Here is how we got here, and what might come next. Viewer discretion. This video discusses conflict and military operations. At the start of 2026, the Trump administration carried out a large-scale military operation in Venezuela. U.S. forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and brought him to the United States on narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges. He was arraigned in New York as the world reacted in shock. Inside Venezuela, protests and counter-protests erupted across major cities. Shortly after, Washington announced its first sale of Venezuelan oil worth $500 million, signaling control over key resources. According to U.S. officials, these actions combat drug trafficking under a broader campaign against narco-terrorism. Washington cites legal authority by labeling certain groups as terrorist organizations. Naval deployments and interdictions are presented as law enforcement measures at sea. But critics question whether drug enforcement is a pretext for something bigger. For decades, U.S.-Venezuela ties were rooted in oil and regional strategy. In 1999, Hugo Chavez took power, rejecting U.S. influence and aligning more with Russia, China, and Iran. After Chavez's death, Nicolás Maduro continued that course as Venezuela faced deep economic crisis and political turmoil, all while sitting atop the world's largest proven oil reserves, nearly 300 billion barrels. Geopolitics hardened and mistrust deepened on both sides. By 2025, the U.S. built up forces in the Caribbean, warships, aircraft, and expanded patrols. Airstrikes targeted alleged drug vessels. Interdictions increased. Oil tankers linked to Venezuela were seized or blocked, choking export revenue. Venezuelan authorities called it illegal aggression and a violation of sovereignty. Washington argued it was protecting U.S. interests and stopping traffickers. Legal experts and international bodies questioned strikes outside declared war zones and actions without clear UN backing. Some warn these moves may breach international law. So should the U.S. be seen as a global law enforcer or an aggressor? Civilian harm and military injuries added urgency to that debate. Some opposition figures and activists backed pressure on Maduro, calling it a path to restore democracy. Others condemned foreign interference as neo-imperialism. World capitals split, some supportive, many critical or cautious. Meanwhile, legal proceedings and back-channel talks quietly advanced. Diplomatic efforts are underway to rebuild ties amid a tense regional calm. Venezuela's interim leadership has opened channels with U.S. officials, a surprising twist. Talks now hinge on security, oil, and the shape of a post-crisis order. Is this about drugs, oil, democracy, regime change, or all of the above? The truth is complex. What's clear is that relations have shifted from rivalry to a crisis with global implications. What do you think? Justice or injustice? If you found this informative, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on the U.S.-Venezuela conflict. Thanks for watching. New explainers every week.